company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
She'll answer anything about your lawn, your garden, your flowers, your trees, your shrubs, anything about the bugs that you see in your yard, anything like that.
Whatever you got.
Whatever you got.
Whatever you got.
What bugs really thrive in this wet, humid weather?
Oh, well,
besides mosquitoes. Yeah.
The whole cockroach family. All the different ones. The ones
palmetto bugs
palmetto
and
bugs,
all of them.
Yep. And people don't realize, yes, palmetto bug is a cockroach, and some of the other ones that
it's a flying one too, boy. It'll fly right at you.
and the American brown cockroach is another one, and but most of them want to be in your mulch. They don't want to be in the house. The only cockroach that we have is the German cockroach that wants to be in the house.
And that's a little bitty thing.
It's a little bitty thing that is many times mistaken for the Asian cockroach.
Right.
There's an Asian cockroach, and a lot of times what will happen, especially in early spring when we're freshening up mulch and things like that, and we're raking out near maybe our front doors and putting fresh mulch, cleaning up all the leaves. We've done all the trimming, and next thing you know, that night you've got your porch light on, and these things are flying, and they're coming in.
Coming right at you.
Coming right at you, and they're little teeny, and it's like they're trying to come in the house. Not really. They're coming to the light. You've disturbed them, but they don't want to be inside. They want to be in that leaf litter, in that mulch. That's what those insects do. They break down organic material. They help create dirt. So if you have a compost pile or you have mulch beds, you've got nice earthworms, you've got the little pill bugs, you've got all of those things are all breaking that down into good organic material that's feeding your plants, the reason you put that stuff down. The other thing that's prolific right now, and I forgot to post my picture, I had racing snails this morning. The snails are going to be quite prolific
everywhere.
Right now.
They're on my garage doors, on my screens, on the side of the car.
Right. Right. I had two going across the sidewalk today at the house, and
wide open.
Just racing snails.
If you'd have waited an extra hour, you'd have seen them move another foot.
The funny thing is I didn't see them when I walked down the sidewalk. I saw them when I came back. So, like we said, we don't always see things right away. So they may have been a little further out, and then suddenly they were within the walking area of it. And these guys were pretty big. I'd say their show was a good inch and a half.
Good.
About an inch and a half. The long
big. I got the little snails.
The little flat.
I got the little
round
ones. Yeah, the little. No.
Oh, they're the little.
They look
ones?
like conch
yes,
shells,
a little bit, yeah.
but they're only about half an inch long.
Okay, they're
they're babies.
juveniles.
Right, yeah.
These were some big ones. They might have been heading for a date. They were aiming towards my peacock gingers.
Well, they could be going on a date.
Yeah, they're going out to eat. Yeah. My peacock gingers are on the other side of that sidewalk. And
how old were you the first time you saw an actual inchworm?
Oh, I was a little kid.
You know,
the little one, they come down on the thread, and the little green inchworm.
The little green inchworm. Okay, I had an inchworm toy where you wrote it and everything. I promise you, I just guess I've never noticed them or don't remember.
Right.
But yesterday I saw one and I go, that's why they made the inchworm green and like that.
Right.
Because he was humped up, his back was, and I go,
And,
That looks
he
just like
walks
when I
up
was
and he
riding
walks
this.
up.
I was like, that's what
And
when I was riding the toy.
And the little toy did the same thing.
Right.
The back went down and came up and down and came
Right.
up, and that's it.
I'd never seen one in the wild till yesterday.
Well, if you've seen the oak worm, haven't you? Much
know.
larger version, and
But it's not green, not vibrant
no, it's
green.
Not, it's not vibrant green. It looks more like the bark of an oak tree.
Oh, okay, yes, I've seen that one. It's
And
got
those-
the spot,
and
the
those-
white
and-
spots on it and everything.
And
Yeah,
those
they do the
two
same
in
thing.
the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so they are, I guess, within that.
I mean,
inch
this one was
family.
probably about an inch long.
Yeah.
It's quite an inch long.
Yep.
And it was vibrant green. I mean,
Yes, they're-
green
yeah,
like
oh,
your
yeah.
bracelet green.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was like, well, they took this the toy,
They took, yeah.
the ride, the little riding
the
toy,
children's toy, right out of nature.
right out of nature.
Yep.
Except they made it 4 foot long instead of
Kind
an
of
inch.
Yeah. Well, you got to fit a little kid on there.
Right, but I guess I'd never noticed them
There's-
before,
right. Or just, yeah.
because I know that they got to be everywhere around us.
They're right, and they're not just localized to one state.
Right,
or
I know
another,
they got to be
but,
everywhere.
yeah.
I mean, red wigglers are everywhere. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And the little inchworms, you'll find them coming down on a little thread, a little silk. Out
Yeah,
of
this
trees
one was
and
hanging.
yeah.
This one was hanging about a foot and a half down.
Yeah, and it's sort
from
of
the
right, I was
garage.
going to say right,
Right,
there. You
I
come
almost-
off there, yeah.
Because
You
I'm
almost ate them.
If you don't know where spider webs in my yard,
Oh, yeah.
just ask me to walk out the door. I'll find them
Okay, there you go.
right in
there,
the face.
right. Yeah, they're always that height.
I used to mow the grass at my house when I lived out in Hawthorne on Cowpen Lake. I'd mow the grass forever. I get close to a bush, banana spider right in the
Oh,
face.
yeah, and that causes quite a cardiac exercise. Yeah,
And
that's
banana
just-
spiders are not small.
No, those are about the only spider that truly freaks me out, because, like you said,
Tarantulas
they're
don't
large.
freak you out?
I've never really. I mean, I had a friend who had a pet one.
That would run up your arm. And
Oh, I
everything?
wouldn't play with it, but yeah,
I did.
I used to play with the little jumping spiders. I like the little jumping spiders, the big wolf spiders. So long as they stayed,
I love wolf spiders
The
as
wolf
long as they don't
spiders,
mess with me.
you stay up in the corner,
And do your job.
do your job. Don't come down and be behind me on the couch.
No.
Because then you're gonna die.
But if you're up in the corners, you're up on the top of it, you're up
You're-
on the molding and everything, and you're doing your
fine.
job by
You're
eating
fine.
mosquitoes
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
You're fine.
Keep it up.
And even the banana spiders, which are not banana spiders, they're actually golden thread orb weavers.
But they're called banana
everybody
spiders.
calls them banana spiders.
Right.
You can train them.
What?
You can train them, because we used to have one. It never failed. She would build, and the females are the large ones, between the magnolia tree and the house, right in a walkway. And it's like, but you come out and there you are.
Right in the
you
face.
just keep snapping off those bottom threads, and eventually she'd go up about at least 6
To
feet
go
up,
high enough where you wouldn't
where
walk
you're
it, right?
not walking into it. It's like, okay, if somebody's going to keep breaking your house right here,
Yeah.
go just a little higher.
Certainly.
And so we wouldn't mess with it. Hey, you're catching moths before they get to the house. You're catching all kinds of stuff. So,
You know what? You know, in nature, because you're a master gardener,
Mm-hmm.
you love nature.
right.
We came home the other night, and we hear him all the time.
Okay.
But we actually saw him for the first time the other
What'd you
night.
see?
An owl.
Oh,
He was every bit of 3 foot,
a big barred owl.
probably that wide.
Yeah.
And he was
Wingspan,
when he
yeah.
took off, his wingspan was huge.
And silent.
Did
Not a sound.
I don't know if that's who we hear, because we hear one up in the trees
Yeah, and that's probably
at night.
Yes, you'll hear. Yeah, the barred.
But
big barred
that
owl.
day, and as the lights hit him, he just looked at us, head turned around. He followed the car down the road, and then
Yeah.
as we got out and shut the doors, the shutting of the doors,
He made him
He
go
flew
ahead.
off.
Yes. Yeah.
and of course, then I got that's why we don't let Elvis and Bonnie out all the time, because Elvis is a miniature dachshund and Bonnie's a
right.
cat.
That's yeah.
She goes, that's why we don't let it. I was like, let me explain something to you first off. Elvis ain't going out. If he thinks that owl's out there, he ain't going nowhere outside.
Right.
And Bonnie, if she's outside the cat, she'd be like, all right, come on. let's see. It's going to be you and me. You may come down. You may walk down here like from the clumps.
Right.
You may walk down here, but you're going to limp back. Bonnie's a barn. She grew up the first 9 years of her life in a barn. She was on a 3.5 acre farm on a barn in a barn.
So she battled.
She ain't
snakes,
worried
so
about-
yeah.
Even though he's a big owl and could,
Oh yeah, very very easily.
but
yeah.
she can stand up on them hind legs with them claws
and
of
make
hers
it, and make,
it a little
herself
difficult
look-
for him too.
Yeah, if they know it's coming. But again, the owls are silent when they come through.
And they whoosh.
Yeah.
and they're very fast.
They
You wouldn't
are
think
very
you wouldn't think that little
fast.
portly thing would be fast, but he's not portly. It's all
No,
feathers.
it's all feathers.
When
That's
he
it.
when he undid those wings and he flapped his wings and
Right.
took off, his body was very thin.
Very streamlined.
Yeah.
Very streamlined. Yeah, I have a hawk that comes visit. I hear the owls, like you said. I don't often see my owls, but I do hear them. And just everything. That's the one nice thing about having wooded areas.
We got a
still near.
red-chested hawk that
Oh, okay.
we can see him. He'll light on the fence every now and then.
Right.
And he must be getting good rodents and all out of the pasture behind us now,
and the retention area.
because he's not a small hawk.
No,
And if he wasn't there food, that owl too. The reason the owl and the hawk are there is there's
something
food
to
source.
eat. There is something
Right.
to eat. Right. Yeah. If there's not anything to eat, they're gonna seek out a different territory.
Yeah. So, but the other night it was really cool. I'd never seen that. I mean, he was a big. He was.
The barred owls get very large.
He was
Very
3 foot
large.
tall,
Yeah,
easy.
Easy. Yeah. Very, very large owls, and it's fantastic to see them, and it's nice to know that we've got them.
Almost the size of a fire hydrant. Is what he looked like.
Wow.
He looked,
Yeah.
it was-
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That is a big one. And to hear them at night is just fantastic.
And they got to be good for the ecosystem because
Oh, sure. Well, they're
part of it.
helping. They're helping with the rodent control because you figure rodents reproduce way more successfully and way more often than the owls and the snakes and the hawks, all the predators.
you're making a rabbit joke now, aren't you?
Could be. But they're reproducing, so they're feeding those
Right.
three predators and whatever else. I mean, there's other kestrels and the oh wow, everybody thinks they're an eagle and they're not. The falcons and
The osprey.
those,
People don't realize that ospreys.
The osprey. Ospreys are usually after fish. They're after water
Right.
areas, but they too are gonna.
Well, that retention pond holds water
Hold
sometimes.
some water. Yeah, that's possible. Possible that there's different things in there. So it's that whole circle of life.
You
Yeah,
got the
and-
split tail hawk. I know that's
the-
not what they're called.
Right.
But,
Oh, the scissor kite.
Right.
The scissor-tailed kite.
right. It's,
But again,
people call it split tail hawk, but it's,
Yeah.
it's a scissor
It's
tail
a
hawk.
kite,
Right,
yeah.
They hunt.
They hunt. I always love to see them just because their acrobatics in the air.
Right.
And are just fantastic. And usually, if you see one, there's at least three.
Do we have a coyote issue in our area?
We do.
We
do. Yeah, we do. And it's I know where I'm at now. I've not heard them, and I'm all of 5 miles from where I used to be. Where I was, there was a very large coyote issue. You could see them. You would hear them.
Yeah.
You would hear them. You would see them. But also, we had bobcat over there, and
Well, there's a red fox family that lives in between the second hole and the fourth hole at Muni. In the middle of town,
yeah.
these red foxes live right in the middle of
But
town.
again, taking care of mice and birds and feral animals.
And those damn Muscovy ducks.
Oh.
Good morning, your own Master Gardener, Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, good
One of the birds that I like are the cattle egrets, the white
Oh
egrets.
yeah. Yeah, they go.
When they come in, I was surprised to see that they also went after the moles.
They'll go after anything. They go the lizards, the small snakes, moles, pretty much anything. Because they're a big bird.
Yeah, cattle
Yeah.
egret's not a small bird.
No.
And
Well,
they stand
anyway,
right.
that's they seem to do quite a good job pulling grubs and stuff out of the ground.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever see how deep their bill goes? I couldn't believe it.
They can, pretty much
Oh,
all
they
the
can put
way
it
up
6.
to their face.
Yeah, they can put it 6, 8, 12 inches down in the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fun to
Well,
watch.
have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for the
Alrighty.
call, Sonny.
Thanks for calling, Sonny.
Yeah, the and you always see them in where I live with the cow pasture. Anytime a cow moves the grass and everything, stepping on it or
they're-
chewing it and
yeah.
everything, they're right there with them because there was the bugs go running. They're like, oh, smorgasbord.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They follow around in those areas, and a lot of times, if you look around, where you find, the cattle egret, maybe you did have a grub issue. Maybe by the time they're finished, you won't, and they don't do near as much damage as an armadillo does when they go after the grubs.
Well, I know that last year we had a bunny issue. There was a bunny issue in my yard, my neighbor's yard,
Right.
and my dog tried to eradicate it
Right.
by getting one of the little bunnies.
Okay.
But there was a group of probably 6 or 8 of them,
Right.
and bunnies always come back to areas they feel
They-
safe in.
Right.
Well, the bunnies were back for a little bit this year, but now we've seen the hawks and we've seen
Right.
the owl, and I saw a black snake out slithering
Right,
between my
right.
fence and the retention pond.
Right.
So, food source may have
There's
dried. You don't know.
Right. And then again, there could again be a population enough to support
All of those.
everybody. Yeah.
Because it is the pasture, and there's got to
Right.
be moles and
there's
rats,
moles
field
and,
mice,
yeah,
and everything.
and
all of those pastures and
crickets
everything.
and grasshoppers and
Because we
everything
actually
else.
have 2 stray cats that nobody in the neighborhood claims,
Okay.
and
So
they
come
live in the retention pond.
Yeah, they live down in that.
Well,
yeah,
no, they
where-
don't live down in it. They live on the sides of it.
Right.
They with the little tall grass on the side of it. But I figured, well, those cats are there because there's a food source
There's
there.
something there for them.
Those
to
wild,
eat.
they're wild, they're
They're
wild
eating.
cats. Yeah.
They're catching birds. They're catching
Mice, some sort of
mice,
rodent.
yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm glad for. That means it doesn't come in my yard out of the retention
Right,
pond.
right, exactly. and that's why having the hawks, the owls, the I hate fox,
Snakes, foxes,
snakes, yeah. Not the coyotes though. The
No,
coyotes are
but as long as the snake doesn't rattle, it doesn't look vibrant.
Right,
orange
right,
and
right,
black
right.
color. What is it?
yellow,
Yellow and black.
If so long as he doesn't have a black nose.
Right. Yeah.
That's
The rhyme used to be red and black.
touches black,
Yes.
Brenda Jack. Red touches yellow, kill
Kill
a
a fellow, yeah, something like that, yeah. But as long as it's not, when it opens its mouth as a black snake, it doesn't have a cotton white mouth.
Right, right,
If it doesn't rattle,
yeah,
or if it doesn't have a black nose on a beautiful looking snake,
right.
I'm all right.
Yeah, that's it. Most of out of all the snakes that we have here in Florida, there are 5 that are venomous.
Diamondback,
The diamondback, the coral,
the water moccasin.
water moccasin, pygmy rattler, but your copperhead is up in the panhandle.
right.
So
Yeah.
we don't have the copperhead
Right.
here. So there's only 4 here, and
My
the
mom
pygmy and the coral, you basically have to force a digit because their mouths aren't big enough into their mouth. They get you between the fingers,
Right.
between the toes, maybe a little toe. I don't believe there's been a recorded death from a pygmy rattlesnake.
Pygmy, you got a chance. Coral snake,
Coral snakes and
You need to hurry.
But
You
yeah,
need
you
to hurry.
do need to hurry because that is the only neurotoxin
Yeah.
one that we've got.
coral snake, you got to hurry.
Yeah. But then again, the coral snake, he's warning you, don't touch me.
Right.
And the king snake is hiding behind the coral snake's look.
Right.
Don't touch me. I don't
Well,
want
that's
to
like,
be.
when I was a kid and we'd put the John boat in the water and everything, I had a relative that lived over in Georgetown, which is by Palatka.
Yeah.
All the canals there, Willac
Right.
and everything. We'd put the John boat in the water and we'd go out with our little cane poles and we'd go fishing. And it was nothing on a summer day for you into some of those close canals where the trees
And
overhung.
the snakes dropping
A
into
moccasin
the-
just
yeah.
fall in the boat
Yeah.
because he was sunning himself.
Yeah.
You just use the boat oar and plug him out and put him in the water and he'd go swimming off. People go, what with a water moccasin? I would have jumped out of the boat. No, the worst thing you can do.
Just jump out of the boat.
That water moccasin was sunning itself, so it was asleep.
Yeah.
It ain't got all its faculty. Just easily put it in the water. It's fine.
Yeah.
People go, no, I can't. Because I used to tell my mom all the time, Mom, there's only 5 snakes in the state that are poisonous.
Yeah,
Out of the
hurt you.
67 that are indigenous, we only got 5 that'll hurt you. She'd be like, I'll be damned. I'll hurt myself getting away from all of them.
That's the biggest problem is that we will hurt ourselves trying to get away with it. We'll step on the shovel, we'll step on the rake, we'll run into a
For no reason.
trip over a rock. Yeah,
For no reason.
I've had many of them. They'll startle the heck out of you, but then it's like, hey, you go your way, I'm going this way.
I walked out in the garage.
Stomp your feet
I walked out in the
sometimes.
garage the other day. In the middle of the garage, it was a baby.
Yeah.
Probably 3 foot, 3.5
little
foot.
rat snake?
No, it looked like it was a yellow snake.
Oh, okay. Yellow rat snake.
Yeah,
chicken
or
snake.
because we don't have corn snakes here, really, do we?
Yeah, well, we got it's corn snake, chicken snake, rat snake.
It's all the same, right?
Oh,
And so I just went over and got the potato rake because he was in no mood to move.
No.
He was sitting right there where the dryer vent comes out. It was warm. He was in no mood to move.
Yeah.
He was coiled up, and when I looked at him and I bent down, he kind of tried to snap at me. So I said, okay. I went and got the potato rake and just put it on one side of him and drug him out, drug him to the grass, and he got the grass and he went on his way. He was a little aggravated probably that I moved him.
If you insist, if you insist.
But the potato rake did no harm to him. It just drug him across And that's the thing. How important is it, because you're a master gardener, how important is it to the overall health of our property that you leave things like that alone? You don't kill, you don't get the shovel and chop its head off.
Again, it's that whole thing of going, there's some reason he's there. Maybe he's passing through, but maybe you've got maybe you've got mice. You don't know it.
You got a mole. He'll get a mole.
You got a mole. He'll get down in there. Yes, they will go after birds and things like that too. But again, cycle of life. If you've got if you're gardening for wildlife, you've got to accept all wildlife.
Right.
You can't have butterflies without wasps and spiders and the things that'll even eat those.
You know, it's so cool here at the airport. I don't know why it was here yesterday.
Okay.
But flying in front of these windows for about 15 minutes yesterday. No.
What?
2 hummingbirds.
Oh.
Flying back and forth in front of these 2 windows.
Wow, and I don't think there's anything.
I looked out there. I didn't see anything that would attract a
hummingbird.
Nope. But there were 2 hummingbirds, and they were only there 15 minutes, and then they were gone.
Right. Well, maybe they were searching around for a place to nest. Who knows? I don't believe there's any plants around here that would give them.
See, I love hummingbird feeders.
Hummingbirds are cool.
Problem is, Bonnie doesn't like hummingbird feeders.
Yeah.
Bonnie doesn't like hummingbirds. And she is very stealthy because she was a barn cat for so long.
Right. Oh, yeah.
She has no problem with killing a hummingbird.
No.
None. Yeah. She'll run, because she can get up on top of the house.
Right.
So where we live now, if I hung a hummingbird, she'd just come off the house on the hummingbird feeder, take the whole thing out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
And it is, it is better if you've got a cat or whatever that lives outside. I don't encourage the cat to try to feed on whether or not it's hummingbirds or other songbirds that you've got visiting. Don't put the feeder out. You could put out plants and things like that naturally attract them. But if it's one that,
the bird feeder never works because squirrels get in. And then when the squirrels come in the yard,
then the dogs
our biggest dog, he thinks squirrels are going to murder mom and dad. So his job is to kill all the squirrels. Yeah. He's never caught one, but he thinks he's a squirrel murderer.
Gotcha.
Good morning, you're on Carol Ann Baldwin.
Hi, this is Sonny again.
Yeah.
I have these hummingbird feeders on the shepherd's hook, the metal ones.
Yeah.
And the squirrels are going up there and going after that. And they also have bird feeders on the same type of deal.
Oh, yeah.
And what I did is I put Vaseline on the verticals, on the fingers. And you would actually see them take a leap onto the, the upright, the vertical piece,
right,
and try to go up. And it was, you'd really laugh yourself silly as they're trying to go up, they're going down.
They are, that is kind of fun to watch.
Like firemen going down the fireman's pole.
Then when
they get on hands.
When they get on the ground, you can see them like walking like you see in a cartoon or something. Yeah,
because they've got icky.
Lifting their feet high. The Vaseline on their feet.
Yeah, that is kind of fun to watch them do that.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks for the call,
I
Sonny.
enjoyed watching them.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
Got about a minute left, Carol Ann. So we've had a good day. We want to tell people again, though, give them one more warning about today and tomorrow and the saturation.
Watch your plants. Watch out that there could be trees coming down in your neighborhood, in your yard. So just caution with that. Bring your house plants in. Why get them drowned? Not house plants, your potted plants and things like that. Bring them in, bring them up under cover. We're going to have some gusty winds. Why have them blow over, get broken and things like that?
Up to 45 miles an hour is what they're predicting.
Right, and so, your ceramic pots might be heavy, but it's not necessarily heavy enough to keep them from blowing over. Get them, if you can't bring them in the house, in the garage, in the carport, in the lanai, bring them up against the house. It will protect them. Get them up under cover so they're not drowning because your containerized plants, that water has nowhere to go except for having to pump down through that pot. So get them out of the rain.
Where can they find you?
They can find me at the In the Garden